Hi everyone, welcome to week 3. This week we're going to talk about the comparison of adverbs, relatively short. So these are adverbs as we've learned them. So we talked about adverbs a few weeks ago. All right. Basically for us, adjectives, we start with the adjective, changes to an E for the adverb, and you can see that here, aequus and aeque. And then for third declension adjectives, it changes to a ter, sometimes with an I thrown in there. All right, so you can see graviter, fortiter, prudenter, etc. So for the comparison of adverbs, excuse me, we're going to sort of use both of those things and kind of combine them. Remember that adverbs only have one form, so we're not going to be declining anything with different endings. We're just going to be focused on one form. All right. So for comparative adverbs, you can see the IUS. All adverbs are going to use the neuter, nominative, singular of the comparative adjective. So if you remember, the comparative adjective is ior, eos. It's just going to use that eos form for the comparative adverb. So more equally, aequus, more horribly, horridius, more bravely, fortius. All right. Remember that the comparative is going to be translated more or with that er form. All right. For the superlative, all right, we're still going to use that ism that we remember from superlative adjectives, except we're going to use the adverb ending of a. All right, so aequissime, most equally, horridissime, most horribly, fortissime, most bravely, and again, the translation is going to be most or est. All right, and that's really it. You don't see comparative or superlative adverbs too much. The comparative, obviously, there's overlap with the comparative adjective forms, the nominative and accusative neuter. So you have to use context to tell them apart. The adverbs, there is no strict overlap, but that E ending is, of course, the vocative ending. Both the vocative ending and the superlative adverb are relatively rare, or the superlative vocative, I should say, are relatively rare. Because it's so rare, context should make it pretty clear which one is being used. All right? All right, so same thing, just with some more sort of description over here. The chart on the left is the same one. So you can kind of read that through. All right, that'll give you a lot of the information I just gave you. But if you want to pause it and read it a little more carefully or closely, it's there for you. All right, so here's an example. If you're a soccer fan, you might know the Men in Blazers kind of podcast / show. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Men in Blazers, but they do have a Latin motto, so I can't argue with that. All right, so men dressed recte. Correctly, appropriately, nicely, something like that, right? So that recte is that positive adverb, right, with that E ending. So that's just our positive. I wanted to show you that as a review. So men dressed well, appropriately. All right, recte. All right, so now getting into comparison of adverbs. All right, so we're identifying each of these as positive, comparative, or superlative. All right, and then translating them in the blank. So I'll do a few for you, and then I'll leave the rest for you. So secundissime, all right, with that ism, so that's going to be superlative, and that's going to be most favorably. All right, remember, adjectives in general, for the most part, not all the time, are going to end in ly in English. Gravius, with that ius, that's going to be our comparative. All right, so more seriously. All right. Pokerime, all right, with that reem. Remember that certain adjectives will take that reem instead of the ism for the superlative, so that's going to be superlative again. All right, and then most beautifully. All right, longe. That's our positive. That's going to be far. All right. And I'm just going to skip to number 8. That's going to be our positive as well. Similar. All right. So positive, remember, is just the regular adjective. All right. Comparative is the more or the er. Superlative is the most or the ESC. I should have said adverb before, but it does apply to both adjectives and adverbs. All right, I will leave the rest for you. All right, so you might know the motto of the Olympics, Citius, Altius, Fortius. This is 3 comparative adverbs right in a row. Do you know it? Quicker, higher, stronger. All right, and the idea is you go, or go more quickly, higher, and more strongly. All right, but those are 3 comparative adverbs, all right, that are the motto of the Olympics. All right, this is from, I didn't write it down. I forgot. I think it's a university in Portugal. All right, but virtus unita fortius agit. Can you pick out the comparative adverb? There it is, fortius. All right. So unified virtue, right? Virtue, sort of shared virtue. All right. Does stuff, accomplishes things more bravely. All right, fortius. So unified virtue accomplishes things more bravely. Fortius. All right. This is a university in England. This happens to be their rowing team, but it's the university crest, and they just add other things to it. So you can see the oars at the top, which I thought was kind of cool. All right. So ut vitam habeant et abundantius, and that, of course, is our comparative adverb. All right. We haven't learned ut vitam habeant, the purpose clause, yet, but to have a life. And then it's understood in the next clause as well. So to have a life, ut vitam habeant, and to have that life more abundantly. All right, with more abundance, something like that. All right, I did see it written as well with the habeant repeated here. I thought it was interesting. There was a little difference in terms of the motto. So to have a life and to have it more abundantly, abundantius. All right, that's our comparative adverb. All right, comparison of adverbs text. This is from Apollo's Story of Apollo and Daphne. If you know your mythology, you might know it. Daphne is a nymph that the god Apollo loves. She does not love him. He chases her through the woods. She prays to her father, who's a river god, to save her, and he turns her into a laurel tree. All right. This is one of the somewhat amusing, tongue-in-cheek amusing passages where Apollo pretends to be worried about Daphne and tells her to run more slowly so that, she doesn't hurt herself on like the bushes, the branches. And he says that if Daphne runs more slowly, he will run more slowly as well to keep things fair, it seems. All right, so comparative adverb. Let's make that red so we can see a little better. What's the comparative adverb? All right, so I kind of already said it, but it's moderatius. Let's get that a little better. And then moderatius again. All right, and then if we translate the excerpt, all right. So properos, you hurry. All right. Sorry, my fault. The places, loca, where you hurry, are harsh. All right. Please, oro, run moderatius, more slowly. And inhibit, slow down your flight. I myself will run more slowly, moderatius. All right, so there's your comparative adverb again. All right, so let's shift over to this week's summatives. We've got some translation of sentences for the reading. All right, remember to read through the sentences to give yourself a little hint of what's there, what you might know, what you might need to look up, etc. So, creditisne his magis quam illis. All right, so note the ending, the subject. Remember that ne is that ending for a yes-no question. It just indicates a yes-no question. Tis, creditus, is really the verb. All right, so do you believe these people, his magis quam illis? So do you believe these people more than those people? All right, remember we learned last week this quam for than, and magus is the comparative word that introduces that. All right, I'll let you do the other 5. If we shift to the writing, all right, we are just forming the comparative and superlative adverbs from those adjectives below. All right, not all of them will be from the book's vocabulary, so you might need to just create them on your own. Anything irregular will be. All right. All right, so we're going to take from the bottom. Go from the bottom up this time. So, tristius is going to be the comparative adverb. And then tristissime is going to be the superlative adverb. All right, laetius is going to be the comparative adverb. Laetissime is going to be the comparative adverb. All right. All right, I'll leave the rest for you. That is it for this week. Please be in touch if you have any questions, and I will be here next week. Thanks.